Hey everyone, back again with another update video. Whoa, am I tired. But let's get on with it, shall we? I weighed myself this morning and I went to 170.2. Interesting. So, yesterday, if I'm remembering correctly, I was 169.2, but then I jumped up to 170.2. I asked ChatGPT about this. The program stated that it could be a number of reasons, but one of the reasons it listed that drew my attention was that your muscles are recovering and they're going to weigh heavier because they're using extra water in your body to repair and heal damaged muscle tissue that's growing into newer muscles. Because I recently did a chair burpees exercise 2 days ago that was high intensity for 30 minutes, and my legs have been extremely sore since yesterday, probably from the workout. Yeah, it was crazy. Wait a minute. No, the workout was yesterday actually, not today. Yeah, it was or 2 days ago. It was yesterday. But so when I found that out, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Will I weigh less tomorrow or will I weigh more? I guess we're about to find out. But here's what I ate today. So in the morning, I had an egg sandwich with 1 gram of carb in a Nature's Own bun with cheddar cheese on the scrambled eggs. And then 2 little pinches of the 7 Sundays nut mix and a helping of some of the zero sugar whipped cream in the fridge. Then in the afternoon, around 6 o'clock, I had chicken from the store I work at. I also had two Fulfill chocolate peanut butter bars that were protein bars. And I got them because on the package it said 1 gram of sugar per bar and 3 grams of total carbohydrates per bar. So when I read that, I was like, well, that fits within my criteria. I'll take it. And I tried them. Pretty good. I really liked it. Well, after the Fulfill bars, I wanted to do an interesting experiment where I would take the shirataki noodles that are a 0-calorie noodle, thus 0 carbs, and then mix that with Velveeta cheese and a teensy bit of filtered milk where the carbs are halved to see if that would make some kind of facsimile of like keto mac and cheese. Now, apparently there's 3 grams of carbohydrates per 1 ounce of the Velveeta cheese, and the recipe called for 6 ounces. Now, I didn't eat the whole thing. I only ate like half of it. So that would mean like I had like 9 grams of carbohydrates from that meal. So yeah, after eating that, I knew that would be my last meal for the day because I didn't want to push it. But anyways, how was it? The shirataki noodles with the Velveeta cheese and the milk. It pretty much tasted like what spaghetti would taste like if you mixed mac and cheese sauce in it. And that's to say, I mean, it's different. It's interesting, and it gives you a sense of a mac and cheese dish, but because the texture and the way the noodles are like is different than macaroni. It's sort of a weird kind of mouth feel, I suppose. I mean, the overall flavor was decent. I'd say it was good enough to mac and cheese, but yeah, the shirataki noodles, it's a weird type of noodle because it's like spaghetti or ramen, but zero carbs. And using that with mac and cheese sauce just was very strange, but still fairly flavorful and good, I suppose. Well, yeah, that was my last meal. Uh, and when I got home, there was A&W that was hiding in the back of the fridge, a zero sugar that I decided to take because I was like super tired, had a long, hard day at work, and I was like, that looks good. I'll have that. And then I took my vitamins, and yeah. So let's get on with the daily update, I suppose. So in the morning, I remember waking up at around like 9, needing to use the restroom, checking my weight, and then going back to sleep until waking up at around 10, where I then spent that time browsing on my phone, finding something interesting to watch on YouTube. It was just a cavalcade of different things that honestly, like, most of it, like, I don't even remember. Like, I guess there was one thing I remember. It was the guy who was like a professional artist who was $100,000 in debt to an art school, and he's talking about like what he thinks of his art school experience and his honest opinion on the whole ordeal. Basically, he says the resources available online far exceed what you get from an art school nowadays, and you should just do that if you have any interest in following up your passions as an artist. Although he did say he met a lot of friends in art schools, so that was a big bonus for him for that. So, pretty interesting to hear from a pro like that guy. He also used like a frog mage as his avatar, and anytime he used explanations of other people, he would use frogs or frog characters in their place, and I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, it got a little chuckle out of me, including school deans and people like that. So, yeah. After that, I started to get a real brain fog from overexposure of information on my phone. So I decided to put my phone down, go out into the kitchen, and I was getting hungry, so I decided to make myself a cheese scrambled egg sandwich with a 1 gram of carb bun and a little bit of avocado mayonnaise. Yeah, pretty good. I think I had a cup of coffee with that. Yeah. Well, after consuming that, I realized I needed my clothes to be washed. So I put my clothes in the wash, and I put it in heavy duty, which meant it was going to take an hour and 30 minutes. And I put it in at around like 11:45. So yeah, it was going to take a while. Well, while it was going, I went into my room, and if I'm remembering correctly, man, I just got caught up with like going on the YouTube app on the TV over there and then looking up gameplay videos of that new Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater game. And one of them was like a guy who had apparently been doing Let's Plays for a really long time on YouTube, and he built himself like a dedicated following. And the fans in the comment section stated, "Wow, I remember watching this guy when I was a kid, and now I'm like 26 years old and he's still doing his thing. That's crazy." And yeah, it just kind of brought into perspective, wow, hey, I'm glad that guy didn't turn into Kobaner Monty 456. I mean, gotta pray for that fellow. Clearly that guy is not in a good spot right now, but hope he improves. But yeah, this guy is definitely the shining example. Like, he continues doing what he loves. He even said he had like a kid. So like he's a father, and yeah, he's sounds really positive and excited about going into Metal Gear Solid. It was pretty cool to see. Not gonna lie. Well, that kind of got me in the mood to play something, so I decided to go on my PlayStation 4 and play a game called Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, which is like an old RPG PC game that you play as this character who is part of like this group of survivors in this radioactive, like Russia or Ukraine or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I need to read the wiki to be better informed, but that's the general gist of it. And right now I'm on a mission where like you're with this group of military dudes, or like, you know, and you have to infiltrate a base and like take out the other dudes that are in the base. Yeah, it's a pretty fun and interesting game. I will say though that if you do get it, be sure to save every like 5 minutes, because if you die, then you're going to spawn at the last save point, which for me, like, I experienced like the first like 30 minutes of the game and then I died, and then it took me back to the like very beginning of those 30 minutes, so I had to speed run through it to get to where I wanted to be. So if you ever play that game, be sure to save frequently, so if you die, you won't have to go through what I went through. But yeah, I didn't get really too far into it, but it was pretty interesting. Afterwards, I remember I was going to go and take my wet clothes in the wash, which were finished, and then put them in the dryer. I set them in there, and it was like around 1:15, so it was just enough time to get the clothes dry. So I spent that time taking a shower, drying, putting on my deodorant, everything, combing my hair, going and getting the clothes when it had like 15 minutes left, but it was honestly dry enough to where it was good to wear for work. And I needed to clean that clothes because those were like my only pairs of pants for work at that moment. So I got suited up and I was ready to go. I said goodbye to my sister and her cat, and I left. And when I got to work, my first hour was spent doing lot, or first half hour anyways, and then the other half hour was taken over by a GM. I went into the store, and what happened after that, I was bagging for the customers. Then I was asked to do snack duty, or sample duty, I guess is a better way of putting it, where I go across the store with a cart with all of our spinach dip and our bagel crisps, and I offer customers samples to see if they're interested in trying it out. And I was able to get through all of the samples that were given to me. Although when I started, I needed to get a fresh batch of samples from the deli, so I had to wait a little while for the deli to prepare that, but they did a really good job, and off I went. I thought I was only doing it for 1 hour, but apparently the person who was supposed to take over for the next hour left, so I was given 2 hours to do it, which, I mean, I'll still do it, but at the same time, I do get a little, like, antsy about walking around asking people to try a product. I mean, I know I shouldn't, like, it's no big deal, but, you know, those butterflies in your stomach that you're like, ooh, what do I say? How do I look without, like, you know, saying something dumb, I guess. But yeah, that's how I felt throughout that. Well, afterwards, I was given lot duty again. So I did lot duty, and as I was doing it, my legs were really hurting. In fact, they were hurting throughout the whole time. Everywhere I walked, like, was a struggle. Like, it really slowed me down because of my, like, exercise. Yeah, if I ever do a high intensity exercise again, I better make sure that I have, like, the next day off so I can give my legs recovery, so I won't have to worry about being slowed down by my own body. But yeah, push the carts. It was quite a struggle this time around due to my legs, but I managed. And the last 5 minutes before I would punch out for lunch, I made a list for me and my co-closer to have a list of duties to get done. Then I punched out, and I left and drove home. But before doing that, I picked up the Fulfill protein bar box. I picked up a carton of chicken. Well, not a carton, like a little plastic container, or not little. It was actually pretty big. And I also picked up shirataki noodles. I bought those, and I remember as I was buying them, one of my coworkers who was in line with me asked, "Hey, what's that?" And I said, "It's shirataki noodles." And they were like, "Ooh, what is it?" Well, it's basically noodles that are 0 calories, so you can eat them on a low carb diet like I'm on. And I said, "I'm trying to bulk up." And after that, I said, "Yeah, and the way they come in, they come out the same way." And that made him laugh, so that was pretty funny. Yeah. Well, I went off to home, and as I was preparing the shirataki noodles with the Velveeta cheese and the milk and the dash of pepper, I was eating away at the chicken, which was very good. Although I will say the thicker pieces that weren't as big as the little chicken drumstick pieces were a bit on the dry side, I'll admit that. But the thinner pieces were nice and tender. Yeah, and I was just eating that while preparing the Velveeta cheese and shirataki noodle combo, which I managed to finish and mix together. I tried to cut the Velveeta into tiny bits so that way it would melt faster and easier after the shirataki noodles were heated up by the water, but it ended up taking a while, and even then, like, not all of the cheese melted into the noodles, so that was kind of annoying. But I tried it, and yeah, it was all right. It was kind of weird, mostly because it's like putting mac and cheese sauce in spaghetti, but yeah, it's all right, I guess. Well, anyways, then I needed to go back to work, so I drove back to work, and the last 4 hours was real tough, and it was mostly just down to my legs. Like, I needed to take out the trash. I needed to restock the bags. I needed to tend to the customers. I needed to clear lot. I needed to wipe the check stands down. I needed to close the produce blinds. Yeah. It was, and I needed to do all of that with achy legs that slowed me down real good. I did get it all done, but my boss did tell me at the end to work smarter, not harder, so I better take his advice, because, yeah, but, I mean, hey, I also had really sore legs, so, yeah, that was something that slowed me down really good. But I'll be sure to do faster and better next time I close. Well, I drove home. When I got home, I was looking for something that had 0 calories to enjoy in the fridge, and I found the A&W Zero Sugar. I was like, score when I got it. And I found a UAP Gerb uploaded video, so I was watching that while drinking the root beer, 0 sugar. And then my sister arrived, and I greeted her, and she was snuggling her cat, and then I was snuggling the cat, and I said, "Oh, he's cute." And then I took my vitamins, I brushed my teeth, and I said goodnight to my sister and her cat. Oh, and I also took out the kitchen trash as well. And now I'm recording this video. And that's pretty much the day in a nutshell. So thank you ever so much for watching. It was a roller coaster of a ride. Hopefully my legs are fully healed by tomorrow, or hopefully later tomorrow. Because, yeah, walking around with sore legs is not the business. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.